Today is Monday, February 2, 2004. This is a meeting of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
C.
Yes.
Yep.
I move for
Apparently.
approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second. Being second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
66? 67.
Man, that's a lot of stuff.
Oh.
Sister
Half
Sue?
an hour. Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
Half an hour just to sign stuff.
Most of it, the chairman's got to sign twice as much.
Yes.
Most of it is the chairman's signature.
Yes. And an absent stamp, please.
I bet
No.
you didn't even watch the Super Bowl.
Kind of. My brother showed up from the East Coast yesterday, and so we had a Super Bowl dinner party, whatever. And I was cooking, so I wouldn't.
The game was good, but I thought the halftime entertainment was horrible, and I was so disappointed in all of the
Commercials?
commercials. They weren't even cute this year.
I didn't see him.
You know, I never watch the halftime entertainment. I never watch it.
Well, I usually do because it's usually
They
spectacular.
started it, and then I just turned to something else.
Yeah. Jackson.
Yeah, I heard she had a little accident.
Huh?
I heard she had some little accident.
What happened? I guess because Sheila shut it off and we went to another station.
I thought that's what you were going to comment on. Apparently your top fell down.
Oh, really? Well, I didn't see it.
No, I wasn't watching it. The halftime entertainment, that loud, wild stuff, I don't care for.
I was outside in the garage smoking a cigar, drinking a cup of coffee.
Oh, that doesn't sound like that goes together. It sounds like a beer. Are we going to send that to Mike Croak and have him
Good. I wonder if
give
Mike's
us
going to want to do it again. 'Cause
Well, if he sharpens his darn pencil
Well, the problem is that he sharpened his pencil
later, well, he needs to do it. But I don't think Conover is.
We don't start worrying about that until June 30th.
Yeah, they
June
will-
29th.
They will not give us a price until the last minute.
Well, but I think Mike Croak will.
Yeah, we send it out.
But last year, we had trouble getting to figure out Mike.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have the information though either.
Oh, we send it to them way ahead of time. It's just that they can't get bids from the insurance companies until 30 days prior to signing the contract.
And what are we going to do about the insurance when we get into construction?
We're going to insure it ourselves.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, that way the contractor not going to mark it 15% on top of it. He'll have to carry his own insurance, but we're going to insure the whole project.
But you know, with the glass dome or
We'll
the
insure that too. Yeah, we've already talked about it somewhat. If we self-insure, well, not self-insure, but if we insure it, then we're not going to have to pay that markup for the contractors.
And you know you got what you want.
Yeah. And that dome is, if something happens to it, that's going to cost.
when did Gessel get hurt?
Sean?
I can't remember him hurting himself too bad.
Oh, he just had a...
Well, it's here under our. It's closed anyway, but it's under our.
I remember it telling me.
L&I.
Yeah. He had a back injury or something. He had lived with something. Yeah, I remember seeing him. All the rest of these are for the chairman.
Well, you have a signature in one place.
God, that's awful.
Yeah, there's. lot of writing.
Oh, my word. I don't think you've ever had a stack like that, Pat. You've had some bad ones in the
Oh, I
past.
think I have. I've had them up to 12 or
Who's
16.
Davis?
Who?
Who's Davis?
I don't know.
Oh, Eleanor. We have so many part-time workers out at track.
Fall into openings, ground openings in labors and freight stock springs. Multiple.
We have so many part-time workers out there at track. Well, I'm glad to see the Benton County. He pulls what I usually do. Get a plate out.
We need to talk to you guys about a fingerprint machine today.
About what?
That fingerprint machine,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't put it on my agenda, so if you remember.
Don't. You just gonna have to wait to bring it up, Fred. It's not on your agenda.
Did you talk to Blue Park? Are they going to pay for it?
They are, but I'm gonna ask that we pay our share of it.
Why?
I don't want Benton County to think that they're giving Franklin County anything.
Blue, what about the fingerprint machines? Benton County, they're paying for
On
it?
those needles.
Well, this
I got it.
is what's happening. Dave was out watching operations, and they were fingerprinting all the kids that came in, and they have to do 4 sets for each kid that comes in, and
Kid that comes in for juvenile,
yeah, for whatever, yeah,
but in juvenile.
in juvenile. And so they have to do manually. They're doing 4 sets of fingerprints for one. And Dave and I sit down and figured it out. It's over 500 man hours that they can save by getting a fingerprint machine that they just couldn't put their hand on it.
Was Benton County gonna go along with it?
Well, Benton County is willing to pay the whole $16,000 for it. But if you guys want to let Benton County go ahead and pick it up, they're willing to do it because
They're going to take it out of their 1/10 of 1%.
Let them pay for it. Really. I don't care what they say, they want to pay for it. That's $4,000 we won't have to pay.
I know, but that's $4,000 worth that we have to carry Franklin County on everything that we're going to have to listen to.
I don't mind.
Okay, well, there's an $1,100 a year maintenance fee on it, which would boil down to a couple $100 for Franklin County. So in order to do that, we would at least have to agree to pay the maintenance fee.
No, if they're willing to pay for all of it, let them pay for it. We can get away with just paying for the maintenance. I say that not in jest because they have so
Well,
many.
I know you're serious.
They have so many more resources than we do that.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's all right.
I'll just call him up and go ahead and get it, man.
Is this our progress report?
Yes.
That's for the Tri-City Herald. I got this in a couple weeks ago. I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet.
It just sent out
Was it sent out?
Friday.
If these new initiatives go through, we're going to have to do a lot of adjusting in everything we do.
Yeah, they'll go through. I'm already picking out a nice sunny beach for me to be sleeping on.
What? What?
I said I'm already picking out a nice sunny beach I'll be sleeping on.
Why?
Well, if those initiatives go through,
How can you afford it then?
you won't have a job. Oh, go find a nice warm place or something.
You make sure it's warm, Fred. You want it.
Just to have to warm.
Yeah. Someplace to get out of the rain. Nothing is going to affect you until this construction is done, Fred. That's called job security.
I can't drag it out for another 10 years. Man, I've already thought of a lot of ways we can spend that $1.5 million if we get it. Fix up that health department. We can overlay these parking lots here that are all busted up, looking pretty shabby. Put new roofs on there.
You know, of course, these are maintenance items that have gone by the by.
When I was talking to Joe Shears about that Homeland Security stuff, and they make all their money through the state. The state picks up 20% of it. He said he's never even gone to a Homeland Security
Website.
conference to find out what all is available on that Homeland Security.
Is he interested?
Oh, boy.
Well, he's managing more grants right now that he's getting ready to hire a grants manager. But I told him I'd grab whatever information I could get and bring it back and give it to him. Even if we can't get anything for the courthouse, if we can get anything from law enforcement, then it'd be worth going to. I'm surprised he's not going to.
Yeah, I would just.
Well, of course, he's not part of Waco,
Yeah.
and it's a deal with Waco, so they might have something
Actually,
restricted.
this is NACO.
Well, NACO. Well, he's not part of NACO, or Waco, or Wasatch.
Well, you know, if they're having a Homeland Security grant writing session and discussion of what's available out there, they have to have something for the counties. Or they wouldn't be putting it on, would they? There has to be something available to the county.
But I mean, he wouldn't get the information because he's not, unless like through you.
Well, you know, if Governor Locke has it set up, does that mean if we write a grant, is he going to take 20% of the money that we would receive? Because it would have to go through the state.
Well,
That's been their practice.
not if we get a grant direct.
We'll find out.
The trouble of it is, most of those grants want you to have someone to disperse it. And that's why the state's been able to do that.
Well, I'll use John, you know. Didn't get it, and we've got a grant manager on that thing, we just run it through him. If we can get it.
Pretty poor showing today, Pat.
Thank you, sir.
Just about the poorest. Well, I can't lift the consent agenda, I tell you.
Yeah, we might be the big club to keep together instead of those little.
Yeah. Ah, that's
Pretty sad.
huge. The backup material is huge on that.
Do we have a big agenda? I didn't even look at our agenda.
Not real big, no.
No, but for the rest of the day.
No. We're done early. We got a department head meeting at 1 o'clock, 1:30.
At 1:30?
Yeah.
You guys aren't going to recognize that area chamber, are you? Because the city's boycotted it, we've boycotted it for the last 3 years in a row. Because they don't recognize our chamber.
Yeah, our chamber is the chairman of the alliance this year.
Are we?
What did you ask?
Well, because they wanted to do a state of the county for the area chamber again this year. And we haven't done it throughout the years because they haven't been recognizing our chamber. And the discussion from the board here was, we don't recognize the area chamber because, they're not going to represent Pasco.
I think it would be good training for a chairman, however, to have that opportunity.
No, I'm going to be out of town, so I asked Fred to just show the video. The video of the courthouse and show why, because that, Richland and Kennewick hasn't seen it.
How long have you planned to be out of town?
This first, I heard of that.
Well, that's what I suggested.
When did you plan your trip?
I didn't plan a trip. I've got a meeting, Mr. Brock.
I'm just asking.
I'm on a couple committees.
I'm sick that day, though.
Well, you did a good job at the retreat that, with Pasco Chamber, and you know your stuff, and to me, when you're up speaking, it's when you're not sure of your subject matter is when you have trouble.
Maybe you'd have no difficulty.
How many chamber times have you spoken to the chamber?
Well, I haven't been asked. They're a little selective.
How about you going and showing the video and talking about our remodel?
I am not the chairman, and I think that would be taking away some of the thunder from the chairman.
No.
I just don't want to put myself in that position.
But when the chairman is gone, the chair pro tem is in charge.
See, that's
Right,
right.
you stay out of that. I'm not. I wasn't even talking to you.
I'll have to pick up where she's running off here. I think it would be a good idea. I've got that state of the county over there if you want to recognize the area chamber, which I think is good.
I don't mind doing those things. The preparation is the tough part, really.
It's right there, and Eva has it right in front of her.
It is a pretty good thumbnail sketch.
Yeah, it kind of hits on, hits on a little bit of everything. I'm surprised you haven't seen it yet.
This is the first I've seen of it that I know of, and it's in here.
Did you see it?
Not that I know.
It's
Right.
it's in the board mail here.
Oh, I see.
So I'm reading it between stuff. That was in the board mail, that insurance, but I don't think it should be.
That's our copy.
Yeah, and
The original's going to be in the treasure.
oh, okay. It looked like an original.
No, I made a copy.
Aren't you finished yet?
Almost.
Oh, no.
I've been pretty quiet over here, but I'm getting tired.
This has been a pathetic deal there,
Marathon.
without question. Good Lord, this is fine stage.
What is all of that? Oh.
Hallelujah. It's last week.
I was wondering, Frank, on that Curlew Road, if the individuals that want it, the Kent Morehouse and that other Dick, if they could do a paved half road and
I
a
don't know.
cul-de-sac.
That one poor little lady, she wants to sell her place, and that's gonna be a convenience.
And
How big is your place?
I don't know how big an acres they have in there. Those are what,
We found a map.
they'll vary in size, and they're 2 acres, 2.5 acres.
oh, it doesn't show there on that one.
I've got a copy of it. Here are the lots. It doesn't give the size, but I'd say they're a couple acre lots. So.
Yeah, I would say. See, this is Kent Morehouse's,
Yeah.
and he made 3 lots out of his.
Well, these people here on the very end, that's absolutely no value to them whatsoever.
But-
You know, these people here could access Overton.
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't have to come out on the road.
Mm-hmm. But Opal, you know, Roger died, so she's widowed.
That road 56 north, is that above the highway?
This is above the freeway. That's above the freeway after all.
Yeah, it's east of 68, off of Burden Road.
I had Sue read that letter that you suggested we sent to Dot Hastings, Maria Campbell, and Patty Murray. She signed it. She only changed one word from what Mary had written, saying, please help by urging the DOE to include public involvement in the process for the Hanford Land.
Well, then since that, I saw where they were going to do that.
I heard something this morning, I think, or last night from Greg Hughes about involving the tribes, but I didn't hear the very first part. So I
Okay.
think
Of course,
it was
Greg was just looking for words when he was talking and they have been involved in the tribes in what they're doing. But this is, he's talking more about, Greg is talking more about what they're doing out of the monument than anything else. He is the head of the monument group. Greg is one of the two. I've heard that several times that he's had on there.
But you know, they're going to transfer not just the monument, but a lot of that area to the Fish and Wildlife. And so that's why it's going to be such a big impact on our PILT funds. And I was wondering if we didn't want to say something about PILT.
I'm not the expert. I just
You know, when I read it, and I didn't
It
give
will
any.
be, we're enclosing that article.
Huh?
If we enclose that article, that mentions filled in it. So.
Okay, and we are,
Yeah.
okay. So, you want to,
I move for approval of the letter to Senator Murray and Cantwell as specified.
second,
Hastings,
in Hastings.
And Hastings.
and allow them to signature that was
Everybody else?
done in writing.
Yeah.
I second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
I got a phone call from Carrie's and his tape of him speaking, and also Dean on my answering machine. They're spending a lot of money.
Are invited to attend the Real Heroes Breakfast, which is going to be held March 4th at the Pasco Red Lion. And in this brochure, it doesn't say anything about what the cost is, so I really don't know
Well,
what
we're
the
going to
cost
be
is.
gone, Pat, aren't we? Oh, no, March. I'm thinking
No.
of February. Oh, I don't think so. For me, no.
What do you have to know on this, Pat?
Actually, it doesn't really give us any deadline of saying when we did put in a nomination. Remember the young lady that saved
Uh-huh.
Matt? We did put her name in. I'll send the paperwork in on that.
Well,
Don't put down a no. then.
don't put a no for
Well,
me
Sue
because
said she would go if one of you we're not going to go, but if one of you wanted to go, then she would let you go.
Yeah, don't put down a no for me yet.
Okay.
That's Lori Savage.
Yes. You know, not that she may or may not be a winner.
oh, I bet you she will.
Yeah, really, that was a good thing for.
Okay. And I didn't think about it in a timely fashion when we scheduled this department head meeting, but apparently this lady by the name of Leona Tucker had talked to
me. She talked to me.
Neva, and she sent this paperwork in about offsite records management. And I don't know if you want to schedule her to come in and talk to
No.
elected officials.
No.
Okay.
I think she needs to talk to each individual.
Talk to them individually and let them come to us, because what
Okay.
might be applicable, or some of those presentations are terrible, and what might be applicable, they can say they don't want to talk to her, they can talk to her, and then if it's all right, and they can come to us.
Okay. I'll give her a
Because
call
she's
back
got
and
her-
tell her that I
she's
will
got her,
provide this information to each department
Yeah.
head then and let them contact her.
Tell John Gessel that we didn't fix that light up there. He's in trouble. It's making Fred mad, isn't it, Fred?
That's right. I'll talk to him today.
We might give these copies to like Mike and Zona.
And tell her.
And I don't know about, also maybe, the prosecutor's office. They might be interested, but
Okay. And then have Mary look at it to see if there's anything that we may want to do. And this came hot off the press before I came down, and I wasn't sure if you wanted to make phone calls or talk to them when you go over there, or what the case may be. And with that, I'm glad I gave myself a half an hour, and I have nothing more.
well, I'm in support of this. By all means.
Did I not give Fred one? Oh, I gave you yours this morning.
It's regarding the sales tax.
And this has been argued forever, in this thing. I can't,
Well, you see, I don't, the reason, no, it's on,
your sales tax staying at home. In other words, you buy something out of state.
and the only way they can control that is big ticket items like furniture, when there is a delivery. When you can't pack it out of the store. That wouldn't affect that sales tax, but if I bought a new living room set in Seattle and it was shipped from the warehouse in Willa, they would get the tax.
Or just buy a car.
No, the car goes with the person, and it always has. That was my argument, and it even is finite down to if you're in the transit, you pay that tax, or
The car always goes to the person within the county, from
where
county
the
to
county
county.
lives. So if you buy a car in Kennewick, and your address is Pasco or Eltopia, it goes to the county or the city of Pasco.
That would probably affect us pretty hard then, because with the auto clubs here.
It's always been that way. It won't change on autos. And that's what the law says. It doesn't affect autos. That's because the autos have done it for years. When I was, each county has a county code, alphabetically, and Benton County is 3 and we're 11. Well, you mark 11 for your county and incorporated or unincorporated.
What about, will that apply to motorhomes too? I suppose?
Everything.
Because that's.
Now, there's some dealers or some counties that don't, you know,
If they don't code that in properly.
if they don't code it in properly, but they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And I don't know how
What method would a person have to make them code that properly? Because, you know, we have this sale out here at Track. And there are a lot of RV business that takes place there. Now, we wouldn't care if it all came to our county, but
Well,
if you go to the Coliseum, that's another story.
no, it's where you live. It's your address. Because what
But if
we,
they don't code it, though, what makes them code it in? Why would they code it in?
because of your address. It's just like, well, Tom King, when I talked to him, he said, I didn't realize that. I bought a new pickup in King County. And he said, my address is Lacey, Washington.
And that's where the tax man.
And he said, I got this huge refund because our taxes in Lacey is a lot less than
Wherever.
Seattle.
Yeah.
And so he got a refund
Well-
from the dealer.
Okay, conversely, that couldn't, how would that be?
What do you mean? The other way around? I suppose they'd collect from the individual.
I'd imagine they'd have to do that on the license.
Because where we made had a problem is our Burbank addresses were all Pasco. So the dealers always assumed that was Franklin County or City of Pasco. And you'd correct them because you knew where those.
But if they code that in properly, then if they code it, they can code it any way they want. But if they code it in properly, it goes to wherever they code it.
But it's like on private sales, you know, like if like I bought or Dave bought Sue's car. Well, when you pay your sales tax, you ask,
When
do
you
you live in
register,
the
when you register,
when you
yeah.
transfer title,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
live in the city limits or outside? And of course, you live in the city limits.
So you pay the max.
Okay.
Or in the
And so the tax would go to
transit zone,
yeah, and it would go to the city of Pasco and transit.
Yeah. And that's
So it's-
a transit tax.
So that's why on this, it doesn't affect the automobiles, because automobiles have already been
Just
doing
yet.
it. And that's the way the tax was.
But internet
Yeah.
is what they've been after, internet tax, so much.
But this is also those big warehouses in King County, distribution points. You order something from Penny's or order something from a store like the Bon Marché or Penny's. Well, it's shipped from their warehouse in Seattle. And that's where the tax goes to where you ship it. Okay, are we,
Mr. Nielsen is up, I believe.
okay, pretty good.
Well, we've been good up to this point.
Well, you know me.
Now what's going on? Trouble?
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't want to create a mountain out of a molehill. It is a fairly minor issue, but with the ag burning, well, in my opinion, ecology is trying to micromanage the process down in Franklin County. The last straw for me, anyway, is under the new delegation order, they are requiring all permitting staff to attend a day of training and to enter data into a database. It's not rocket science. This would cost the Conservation District about $1,200, which represents about 12 to 17% of the total budget for the Ag Burn program. I tried to convince them that sending one person would be appropriate, and that person could come back and tell the other people how to do it. We've been doing this for a year. It's not something like it's brand new. But to date, they haven't agreed with me. They still want every last person to get training. They also questioned why we might need 4 people to actually, be trained up, because we have 4 people to assist in the program. And I said, well, it's a matter of customer service, which of course just went right over their head.
That is for sure.
And part of the problem, and Jim can attest to this, is their database itself is, how would you want to describe it? It crashes, it has problems, it's prone to doing things that it shouldn't. And so, my opinion is the majority of errors that they're claiming that are created out there are actually created by the database, not the person actually entering the data. Really, it comes down to just a continual degradation of local control and them wanting to micromanage the program. It started off with they eliminated county's ability to call burn days. They do that now on a regional basis. They then said all these permits have to be entered into the database. And now they're basically saying, anybody who touches the database has to have copious amounts of training. I mean, this is not life and death. This is not like a CPR class. I mean, this is pushing numbers into a database. So what I'd like is to basically send a letter from the county commissioners that basically says, number 1, this needs to be a partnership, not a dictatorship. It shouldn't be a parent-child relationship. We should be working together on this. Number 2, of course, it should not be in the business of micromanaging every aspect of the day-to-day activities of the program. 3, a reminder that every time they add a requirement to the process, that it increases the administrative cost of doing business. And we are already at the highest level of a per acre charge for the cost, and so you can't raise the cost anymore to try to cover the increases. They don't seem to understand that. They get their paycheck regardless, and they've got 4 full-time people in Spokane doing this. And then basically just kind of a reminder or maybe a slight threat that we may have to reevaluate whether or not we'll accept the delegated order. No decision at this point, but just, remind them that we don't have to accept
They
it.
can't farm that back out to Benton County, can they?
I don't believe they can.
They can't.
I don't believe
Benton
they can.
County is its own authority, and being its own authority, it's in central Washington anyway. It's not in eastern Washington region.
I just don't ever want to come back there again. But
No, and quite frankly, I don't want to lose the authority because the growers, the farming community out there, I think have really appreciated that being able to come
I
in
think we
and
should,
actually.
this is something that we should talk to our legislators about. Let's make a note of it so we don't forget, because they're adamant that, in fact, I thought they signed into
Code of
law
conduct.
about that they could make rules and regulations.
well, it's interpreting the RCW Act, is what it amounts to.
And it's not even that. They're actually adding extra requirements
And they're not
to
supposed
the
to do
delegated
that.
authority.
And so,
They went through a big PR push a year or so ago about their adopted code of conduct and their ethics and their.
But you got someone that's trying to justify his position so he can keep a job, is what it amounts to.
Again, I don't want to blow this out of proportion, and I really don't think we will win this battle. But what I found with ecology is you never win the current battle you're working on because, of course, they'll never back down. They want to show you that they have the authority. But what it does is it makes them think pretty hard the next time that they try to add a requirement.
And you were going to offer such a letter?
Yes, I would work with the
can work with
planning
Mark and
department,
draft
draft a letter.
and I
have a-
think that our 9 legislators and senators,
maybe CC.
Well, as a matter of fact, we're going to be in Lincoln. I think this is something we're
yeah,
discussing.
and I think we should. Well, maybe we could hand carry the letter if we could get it before Wednesday.
I could get something pretty quick. Again, we want to keep burning as a tool for the agricultural community, so we don't want to completely infuriate ecology. On the other hand, they need to recognize that there's only limited funds to carry out the program.
And basically, the program was supposed to be self-sufficient, and it never has been. It never has been.
It can't be.
Well,
It could be, but not under their
Not under
guidance.
the current.
Not under the current
Yeah, that's
edicts that are.
You know, if, again, I don't know if this would be possible, but if ecology, you know, if they're going to add the requirements or whatever, then where's the funds coming for these?
Yeah. The standard unfunded mandate type situation. You know, and this is, in the big picture of life, you know, we're talking very minor dollar values. But if the program's going to pay for itself, you know, they need to watch what they're doing.
And I asked Mark, and we both agreed that provision in there where the permitting staff, if they could just delete that out of the delegated authority. Or
Just
the
say permitting authority.
authority.
I mean, I don't have a problem sending a person to get trained.
And one person should be sufficient.
You know, once you get a set of regulations established, there's no reason to keep tinkering with those. You know, you got to tinker, and that just magnifies on down the line. And it's ridiculous to have to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, there's my gripe for the morning.
Well, get a letter and then we'll hand carry it.
All right.
And
I will.
we're going to see all 9 of them on Wednesday.
Great. I will draft one.
And you guys are in session Wednesday morning?
Yes.
To sign the letter and accept it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll get that out here real quick.
We'll count.
I'll try to get you something by end of business today.
Yeah,
Jack.
that's this. Grant Pfeiffer, this is coming from his department?
Yeah.
Or higher than him?
Well,
Actually, probably lower than him.
Really?
I think Karen's the one that did it because she's the charge of the program for Eastern.
This is what happens. You got a department head, then you got program department heads, you know. Or
Well-
program heads, that's it.
They have gotten so many staff and so many people, you know, trying to do the burn permit program, and I can see where they want to get people up to date and current
Sure.
in the current changes that they may have made in the permits or the permit requirements. But the idea that one person can't go out there and come back and teach the rest is almost ridiculous.
Well, that's craziness.
Mary.
Thank you. It's always a delight to have all of you.
It's a pleasure as always to see you.
Yes.
Tell Sue I missed her.
All right, we will. And the capital budget.
Well, we'll just have to chew on him for a little bit.
Mike is a nice guy. He approved this deal with Doug Johnson. He was going to go out and get money, and Mike didn't really research it when he did that.
You mean Roger?
Roger.
Yeah, we need that $1.5 million bad.
It would be a good running process.
We can definitely use it. We'll just transfer that right into that money and free up that other. I've already.
Okay, what's missing from that is that insurance, but
Yeah, I'm gonna give that to.
Huh?
I'm gonna give that to Bridget and we'll send it off tomorrow.
What's this? Oh, burnt man.
We're gonna have a department meeting today to talk about the move.
1:30.
It's just for people that are affected.
What in the world is this?
That suggestion about only using the warrant number for the,
Uh-huh.
that won't work.
Huh?
That won't work.
Why?
Because they print our checks out consecutively and the last person to get a check would win every time. Because when they start to
No,
print
they
out,
don't, because it's your checks are alphabetic.
I just have vouchers.
Franklin
Huh?
County Ag, or
Just vouchers.
have a sign built that says Franklin
Well,
County Ag.
do that.
I want to talk to you. I talked to that lady on Curlew Road, and I saw want to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
But it can't be put up until we get that thing done.
All he has is vouchers.
Oh, well, I move for the approval of the vouchers for County Road, Motor Vehicle and Public Works Trust, CR Employment Trust, and Solid Waste Fund as specified.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
No, we can go ahead and put it up, and then if we want to take that marble off, then we'll just take it down, because it's going to be a plastic sign that will be mounted and taken off. And then when we do the stucco, we can put it back. And then when we come back, we'll pull it off. And then it'll turn into the health department. Or actually, you could probably still keep that there, Franklin County Annex.
Well, it'll always be the annex, you know.
That building's turning out pretty nice.
Oh, my, that looks nice inside there. That final bit has done that's really good.
When you pull all that marble off there and stuff, well, that's going to be a brand new building.
That's going to make it look better. Because that marble never did look that great on there, really, even when it was new, because it didn't kind of fit the way they had it.
No, I've already got people wanting that marble too. I said, how did you even hear about this? I'm going to take all that marble off of that. I said, well, talk to John.
Oh, gosh. That big mouth.
Well,
Who wants it?
well, Jared downstairs is wanting to make a shop table with one of them. And,
Huh?
how much have you used for
Do
it?
you have time to do this? Because now you've got this short plat by
Yeah,
Kent.
that wasn't done not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's in June. So,
Yeah.
can we, I was wondering, can we require him to do a half road?
That was what when I talked to him, I said, what you've shown up at the wrong time. You should have showed up this hearing.
Who, the ladies?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I understand that. But they-
Didn't happen. And what was agreed to and what we signed off on that one was that they can't further subdivide this until they build their half road. But they can build a lane, one of those gravel lanes, access lanes on their half. They want to build on that one, the 20-foot lane.
What we're looking at is an assessment for the other people on the other side.
Right. Looking at doing it the way that it should be
Well,
done.
and see,
then
and
the
then
cost
this
is
guy
gonna split
here-
by both sides.
This guy here's got this blocked off. This guy here.
Okay.
But we can correct that.
Or do they need to get back there for something?
No, but then there shows a 50.
That's where we're going to put the cul-de-sac.
But it showed on the original that this lot should have had a 50-foot
That was
radius.
back when we didn't require anything, and that was in the 70s.
And that's what I told them. I said we're
That's
living with a
before my
lot of.
time. That
That's,
was
we're living with a lot of
back when the county.
evils.
Back when the county supposedly, after they built enough houses, didn't want in and did it for them. That doesn't happen, and some of them didn't get done. This is one of them.
Yeah. Well,
A lot of you just won't find until somebody either makes a complaint or you go in like this.
My understanding, some of the things that are going to help you out with the estimate that we came up with, there's a tree over in here somewhere. He's going to take that down himself, so that's that much less that's going to be costing. There may not be as much dirt work. I mean, we were Matt went out and looked at it. There was 20 inches of snow on the ground. It's kind of hard for us to tell. That's why we were real conservative on the estimate. I don't think it's going to come in that way, but I don't know.
The thing of it is, there are a couple of people here that's going to make a hardship on it.
Yeah.
Real hardship on it. And trying to, I don't know what those places are.
They're not, this side, these people won't be paying as much as these.
no, I know that.
But
And
even-
I pointed that out to
Yeah.
him.
But even with that, it's going to make a hardship on a couple.
But, this fellow here that,
He's the one that's proposing it.
right, and
Well,
he didn't talk to any of these three ladies.
His story is totally different.
Yeah.
He is the one that's been maintaining the road, and he goes to them that, initially they helped when they first built it, they put some gravel on it and stuff. He's been maintaining it since. He's asked him for money for maintaining it and graveling it, and they don't want to have any part of it. So he's basically maintaining it himself, and he don't want to do that no more. They don't get along.
Hey, private roads. Private roads are a problem.
As far as paying for it, I think you can make it so it's affordable for them. You can stretch that out for 20 years if you want. As far as repayment plan, you can put prevailing interest rate of whatever that is, what, 3-4%.
And the thing of it is, Frank, though, if she
and your
sells
yearly
her
payment is going to
property,
be nothing.
and
It's not going to increase the value of it.
but if she sells it, there won't be a lien. They'll just subtract it from the money
It'll
she
have to be paid
received.
out before
But I mean,
before
it's-
they close it. Yeah.
Oh, yes, but it's still got to be paid out of your portion of the money because it is a lien on her property.
Yeah, but
It's a
I-
lien on her property, no matter how.
But I
much
mean,
it's
she
paid.
doesn't have to pay it up front before
No.
she sells her house.
Oh, no.
No.
But it'll be less money. She has to go someplace else. And her problem is that the gal, her husband died about a year ago. She lives there. She doesn't drive. And that's why she's selling the place. At least that's what they
No, but the next, it might be a lot easier to sell with a paved road, and in fact, I know it will be.
You can't argue that.
And there is some value now. Whether it's that's the question: is the value equal to what you're getting?
I just, personally, I can't bring myself to put these people in a hardship situation, and this is what we're doing.
And that's you guys' decision.
But
I do
we
recommend.
have to. But we do have to have a concrete reason to deny. I mean, Mr. Dick has gone through the process.
That's why I think
and-
you need to get a legal
We
opinion.
can,
Yeah, I
we
think.
can deny, I can vote no for any reason I want to, even, on these
Well,
things.
maybe so, but it can be challenged. So
Yeah, they can challenge. They can
I'm
challenge.
telling you right now, Mr. Dix may do that. That's why I'm saying you want to talk to.
But
Yeah,
if he wins, so be it. But my conscience is not going to put that encumbrance on that lady out there. I just won't vote that way.
So you're doing it on the basis that you don't think the value is equivalent to what they're going to receive.
What I'm thinking that the RCW in this case,
That's the
Even
whole
though-
basis for this. That is a legal thing, but I think
No,
you need to talk to the attorney so you phrase it properly.
it is front footage breaks the tie. I understand that's the way it's written. But when there's 3, 4, and 3 against, I can't support that. But if he goes to court and wins, period, I've done all I can do. But I'm not going to vote for it. I mean, that's period, and that's,
But we'll be spending money for court.
if we have to, we have to. I mean, that's,
Well, when's this going to come up?
24th.
Yeah.
24th.
Well, the public hearing is, you don't have to make a decision that day.
No.
On February.
Yeah. You can, say thank you, we need to think about it for a while. We have enough opposition here, we need to think about it for a while, and we'll make a decision. That's probably your best move.
I would agree, because if you have,
And check with our legal counsel. This is pretty contentious. That's, by the way, that's why we only do it by petition usually, because we want the people to be for it, and we don't want to be the one proposing it. And we didn't propose this one either.
no, and I understand that. I understand that. We're acting out of position, we're following the law. We have position or capacity here to grant a waiver on that.
So could the remaining people, 1, 2, 3 people, build a half a road?
They can do whatever they want, yeah.
Without libeling the other people.
Other people will use it.
But I mean, they have that option, yeah. The person on the very end up there,
Lot 4. Are you talking
Yes, this lot right here, even though they use this road now, they could decide if they had to, they could fence that off and come out on the other road.
We probably wouldn't give them a permit.
because we had the same thing come up on that one out here off Clovis Highway on Peterson Edition. Those people on the corner, I forgot me. But the road really wasn't doing them any good, and apparently that petition died out there.
Okay, well, that's what I wondered
That's
if
it.
we could have an option of doing a half road and just assessing these people and excluding those.
If that's the way the petition comes in, yeah. But once that's built, you can't keep those other three off. That's
No.
And this is, we understand that. And maybe some other people, they'll come in there and want to put the road in. But this makes a hardship on those people then. You know, and $50 doesn't sound like much to us, or $40. But if you're a widow living on a minimal pension, that's a lot of money.
But we also could make the payback, stretch it out a lot longer, and the ones that wanted to pay it off up front could, and then.
Yep. You set the interest rate on the payback.
If I were living on the street, I would jump at $50 a month to get a blacktop.
So,
I would, but I'm not.
Is that
running
what
on
it's going to
street.
cost? $50 a month?
They could set it up about $50 a month.
if you go, their assessments on the 3 lots are $6,000. If you went 10 years, ignoring the interest rate, that'd be $600 a year.
Look,
$50
about $50 a
plus
month.
whatever interest.
So you look at this one little gal that comes in, her husband retired
There it is.
from the railroad.
If you go 20, it'd be half that.
She comes in for coffee, and her total take every month is about $980. Her total income every month. Now, people in that category, an extra $40 or $50. That's a lot of money to them. Yeah, I never understood railroad pensions, and apparently they never paid. They don't get Social Security because they never paid into it.
Well, neither does Corps of Engineers, government. They don't pay into Social Security either.
But their pension is so little, and when her husband retired, I think she got about 13. They got about 13 or 1,400 a number of years ago.
And probably when that happened, that was probably a lot of money. It isn't much anymore.
God, no, when he died, then for somehow or other, she ended up with this little amount here.
Yeah.
And that'd be terrible.
That's it. That's as far as I'm with you. I think you need to have some valid. If you want to say no, I think you need to have some valid reasons to say no.
Valid reasons are always much better for denial.
And I would recommend you get with. When you get a chance to talk to prosecutor, you might talk to him about it.
If Darren will be back, we can have a chance.
Because you have 3 against 3. I mean, it's a dead heat.
Oh, it's a dead heat except for the lineage, and that throws it the other way, and somehow that's not right.
Okay. That's.
Okay, well, that was my question.
And again,
I don't know why Wilma was.
I don't care what.
Well, the way she got involved in it is because that one lady was having trouble getting her kids picked up.
Huh?
It used to be you had to drive through old dirt.
She lived the one lady was having trouble getting her kids picked up.
Wilma lives in Kennewick?
Yes, she taught in Kennewick.
Yeah, but she lives out on.
No, she farmed her farm.
Oh,
She-
the-
Anyhow, she taught in Kennewick. She may live here, but I can't say. I thought she lived there, but anyhow, her farm was out there right close to me. And it's been there for many years. Anyhow, this one lady was having trouble with her kids, getting them picked up like they should. And Wilma entered into it and helped her, even though she was in Kennewick. So when she had this difficulty, that was all on her again. That was the young.
I'll just use the paperclip, Mary.
That was the younger.
Live next to Mr. Dick.
I know wrong. I've known him for years.
Who's that?
He's gonna go buy her house. We'll
We'll go out and take a look at her.
Whose house?
The
That lady.
old gal.
If she's going to sell it, it's on a couple acres, and it looks like something I'm interested in.
I think it's just an acre. Though.
It's just an acre.
Acre.
It's over. It's big lot.
Is that Nellie? Nelson's?
The old lady.
Opal?
The oldest lady and her husband, the one whose husband died.
That's Nellie, and he was fire commissioner with Phil, Fire 3.
Okay, and he's only been gone about a year.
Yeah, he hasn't been gone long. Oh, we
We've
got,
got a road improvement district hearing coming up.
and it's even. I thought it had to be
Front footage is
60%.
over 50%, but there's only 6 lots, and they petitioned, and 3 of them want, 3 of them don't.
And there's 2 widow ladies that,
They're concerned about
Their
bankruptcy from
assessment.
old widows. and they're leaning towards,
Denying it.
they want to make sure that there isn't going to be any repercussions one way or another.
Well, does it meet the criteria? If it's 50-50, it has to be more than 50.
Well, the front footage is more 50.
See,
It's either or, isn't it?
No, if you go to the front footage, it's 50-50 as far as lot numbers. Some of the lots are bigger on one side. There's 2 on one side and 4 on the other. So you have 2 on the long side and 1 from this side. So you have more than 50% of the front footage. Petition.
And they're going to pay them more of the
Right, they're
assessment.
paying more of it because they have more front footage.
What are your basis for denying
Why, it's.
The
it's
little
gonna
widow
make-
ladies can't afford it.
It's gonna make a hardship on some of them.
I don't know if that's a good reason.
That's why we're asking.
Yeah, that's why we're asking.
I think that's in a road improvement district. They want to pay for it, and we can't say no. You can't do that. You can't improve your property.
Said you might hurt this one person over here that can't afford to pay.
It's just ministerial as far as I'm concerned. It's not an executive decision.
They're gonna have, if we have the option, if we have that option, I'm gonna vote no on it. I'm not gonna participate in a hardship decision.
Well, look at the statute. I haven't looked at it.
You might want to do that.
When's the hearing?
24.
Yeah.
But we can delay the decision.
We don't have to make the decision that day, we can delay it whatever.
In fact, after you hear them speak, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
yeah.
Tim. Well, what do you have for us?
Nothing.
Words of wisdom.
We're looking for wisdom.
Well,
You're looking in the wrong place.
yeah, I was going to say we're looking in the wrong place.
You're looking in the wrong place.
We got our insurance from Conover, and do we want to work on Mike Croak, or do you think Mike Croak will tell us to go jump in the lake?
You mean on property?
Well, the thing of it is, he give us a bid, and then after he saw what Conover did, he sharpened his pencil, and I don't think we could have done that to accept him afterwards. Do you?
Not if you've already bound it. You bound it way before. We can ask him again. A little sooner. I don't know that I got any quotes this far out yet. But
Yeah, that's the trouble. But if he had all the information, it'd be easier for him. Although Fredson got the information in a timely fashion, but I don't think he did.
he said he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't have the contract or
He
the policy.
what he needed was
He had the inventory of the buildings and stuff, but he didn't have the actual.
We had some questions on it that didn't get answered. But that can be done. And I think that would.
So I think we need to approach Mike. When's our next directors meeting?
April.
April.
Well, they have just quarterly.
3 a year. I think so. We dropped.
They cut the winter one out.
Right.
Because, well,
That was good.
one of our directors from Clallam County got
Almost
hurt
killed
really
herself.
bad.
Yeah.
Almost killed herself trying to get to Marge Rude, Upham Rude. And she bounced back. I mean, it took her a while, but
I don't have any updates on any litigation. I don't have.
how's Darren doing?
Darren is doing fine. He came out of surgery, wanting to go back to work, and he was all doped up. And his wife called and made me tell him, "Don't come to work. You're fine. Everything's fine."
But this was just day surgery.
Yeah, but they literally opened his face up to get inside to take his adenoids out.
At 1:30 regarding the move. So I don't know if you need to be here. I suppose you want to, but have somebody, huh? Jennifer, maybe?
I might have somebody come down.
That move is not going to affect you, that's
Should,
that's right.
It shouldn't affect me. The only
I'm
thing
sorry.
we're having. My last word I heard was our dockets are going to still be upstairs, so we're not moving outside for our dockets. Is that right, Mike?
Not for a while. I think probably another year is what I heard.
I mean, as far as our dockets are going to be in the new courtroom. criminal dockets, right?
Yes. And then anything else will go out of the portables.
Trial.
Not for about another year. Yeah.
Well, depends when we get them done.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Well, I talked to Fred last week, and he said that the third floor probably won't have anything done for at least a year. That's
Oh,
what he was
okay.
saying. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we would even have the old courtroom
available.
at that time.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
He said they're going to start in the basement and then work their way up.
Oh,
That's good to hear.
But maybe we'll find out
So that's
today, I guess.
That's the only way it affected me.
I thought we'd.
All
So
the
it won't all
time.
happen at once.
If I left my
Right.
glasses down in your storage area
I thought
down
they'd
there.
go up.
I don't know. I can't find them. The last time I had them, and I was looking at that file. So
Yeah, and I didn't notice that there was anything there.
it was right on the counter, looking right on the counter. It's the only place I was at. So
John?
I'll ask John.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Came up, right?
Yes, I did.
That's who's on next,
He is?
Yes.
according to mine.
No, 10:15.
No, 10:15, that's when they're up,
It says County Administrator Fred Moore.
but it says 10:15 might kill you on mine.
Oh, I don't have it. Okay, all right. This must be an update.
The second agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that happens. That happens. We'll get a change, you know.
but
and-
Fred should be here
Yeah.
for the discussion.
I didn't see him out in the rotunda.
Zona's out there.
Yeah, she's talking to
Tell
someone.
her. Yeah.
Is Zona coming in?
She is.
Yeah, she's coming.
Are you coming back in the imaging and you have everything ready to go?
Yes.
Do you have the committee sign
Well,
document?
I have the original document, which that dollar amount will stay the same. I've talked to the vendor, and I'm taking out a scanner for this year to reduce the cost. But I will need to get a scanner, but maybe next
So
year.
the 75,000 is staying the same?
Well, we're down to
See, that was on the original document, 75,000.
Right, we're down to 64,000, and out of that amount of money, 60,000 will come out of the O&M, 10,000 out of capital outlay for the server, which Jenny and Zona said that if Kevin Scott runs into a bind later this year, that money could be loaned from those line items.
From what?
From one of ours.
From one of their own
From one of our
funds.
lines.
So this is coming out of the
Yeah, it's coming
Correct.
out of the, yeah. the-
information, the 10,000 is
Historical.
coming out of IS.
Correct.
Yes.
For the server.
Yes, yeah.
But,
Yes,
And the service,
but okay, if for some reason Kevin gets in a bind at the, end of the year, then I'm quite sure, I know Zona, we talked about this the other day, that we should have enough money to cover that at the end of the, year. If we don't, then I can take some out of my treasurer's own in and loan for a few months, so.
and then what'll pay back their loan?
See, the concern I had at the last discussion was this early in the year, you can't cap the hardware line, capital outlay, hardware line by 30% this early in the year. And so I just told Mike that if we can, maybe if the line starts getting in trouble towards the end of the year, if we can look for some reimbursement elsewhere, that would probably be helpful.
Where else?
But we may not need it.
Well,
Well, that's
see,
what
that-
Jenny
that-
and
yeah,
But
that-
this is what Jenny is saying, and
Okay.
that's fine, but
I
who pays
understand.
back Jenny, though?
But that O&M will pay me back, but the problem, I think what the problem is, we probably need to back up a little bit, is the payments are, they're wanting them right away. See, that's our problem. It might try to get them, so that they'd be kind of throughout the year, but I think it's what, May, or is that your last one or something?
It'd be 30 days for the first payment from February, and then it'd be 30 days from April, and then 30 days from June for the last one.
See. And we would be able to, at the end of the year, we would have enough money to cover,
Those are
in the
estimated
historical fund, to cover everything that he
now,
wants.
now could I ask a question, and maybe this is way too late for me to ask the question, but are they a proven company? I mean, who else has them?
Spokane County
Spokane.
uses them.
Okay, who else?
Spokane County clerk's office.
You guys know one's in Washington
Right,
now,
right.
Spokane County. We went up and visited them and saw the system, met with Spokane County. It's a very,
Who else in Spokane County uses it besides the clerk?
Oh, in Spokane? Well, the jail is using it, and the sheriff's office and the police have hooked up with it.
and then their goal is to slowly start filtering out to all the county departments all over.
This is the second year that he's been on it in Spokane.
I think Mike went back with the vendor and crossed out one of the scanners
Right.
to get the dollar amount down to where we could handle it. And like I said, the only concern I had was depleting that fund so early in the year. We may be just fine all through the year, not be an issue at all.
I just want to make a statement, and I want to make sure that we're on record, because I worry about a vendor that just has one person in the state. You remember what we went through with that one vendor with your first program with you and
Back in the Midwest.
Well, he has other.
Right,
he has
that's
other,
true. But then
he has
we
other
also
vendors
went,
in the state.
our
I thought
second
you meant
vendor was
clerks.
the same.
No, I wanted to know who else uses them in our state.
Okay. Well, I know that there's I'm not going to speak without knowing for sure, but I know there's other agencies in the state that use Integra, this company. I know he's with the University of Idaho. They're out of Boise, is the company.
Yeah, I understand your concern there.
Yeah.
But you know, with the second
Because
people we went with,
we
they were
on
the
this
first
side of
time.
the counter
Right.
aren't
I
into
understand.
programs and software and
I'm not saying we're illiterate, but there are lots of this you don't understand.
but I don't want to put
But
a
I
big
understand that.
expenditure in and then it not
Right.
work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that the reserve fund, I think it would stand on the inventory and show an inventory that we paid $50,000 out of the historical document money for that server. It actually wasn't a server, it was an AS400, that was IBM, Kevin. And I imagine that $50,000 went toward the new system and equipment.
But do we have a resolution that specifies
Yes.
everything we're doing, and also a sign off by the auditors?
The committee, our committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have a document sign off that is current?
Okay. Do you want one? Do you want a sign off that shows exactly
Yes.
the way
Yes.
that we're doing
And,
everything?
and where the
we
money's
have-
coming from
Okay.
and what budget.
Everything
and
that's
in
how
here.
it's going to be paid out.
You know, I don't have that.
Okay.
Because we'll forget it if we don't do it now.
And so we want it for the
And I will be
for a,
borrowing money from my elections operating fund to pay, because I don't have enough money in that fund to pay all the bills that have to be paid for the first 6 months. So I'll be borrowing out of.
Make documentation.
see, we need
But
all
that
of
money will
that.
go back in, right? When your
When
elections
we
are
get
paid
when we get the money
from the districts.
when we get the money from the big bulk of money that comes in
June?
from the state for O&M.
Right.
We'll use that money to pay back the O&M fund, the election
The elections department.
Okay. But wait a minute. What? How come you have to? Oh, you're just going to borrow it out of there and you're going to pay it back. So you're talking about July's payments you're going to take?
I'll pay as much as I have out of the fund, Jenny. But when there's no money there, I got to borrow to make.
Okay, but why? I thought the districts paid that election.
Oh, they do.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
why-
she's going to borrow out of the elections
elections to
O&M
pay the
to
auditors
the
O&M.
auditors O&M. She's making a loan to the auditors O&M.
Right, but I'm just questioning why.
But that'll bring that up to $64,000 now, as that's what we're talking.
I think that Jenny said, I had the report that showed that we had.
Oh, because your payment is okay. Your payment's the same way Mike says. Everything is right now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Everything
That's
has-
that's what we talked about the other day.
Yeah, everything has to be paid out the first
Right.
half of the year.
Right.
And so I'm not going to have enough money for all the payments, but I can borrow from the election O&M and then pay it back when the money comes in.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Could we have some documentation on this, please?
Yeah.
Before
Well,
we-
we might be able to do.
Before we approve any of this, please, have documentation.
I'm confused too. I wasn't documentation. I guess I wasn't thinking about all that.
So you want something that says Zona's O&M fund's going to be reimbursed?
I want to,
Well,
No,
we want to know
everything on
the
that.
payment schedule, where it's
Which is in
coming
here.
from.
And then also what we can do, a spreadsheet like we did. You had one, I had one. Remember, we showed
Right.
where the payments, how much is coming in each month here, how much is sent out, and then in July what we're expecting to get back.
And to vote on the
And
approval by
what-
the committee, so that we have it and we set up a process that we follow.
Well, does the committee need to meet to say that you're borrowing money from here to pay it from there?
I don't think anybody cares.
No.
That's the first thing.
See, this is how the resolution reads here.
Yeah, they do. I have to correct you, sir. They do care because that is the committees that we are the overseers of that fund. So it is up to the committee to say that she can borrow money.
It's up to the
from there.
committee to decide, and that's why I want to see the
Borrow
signatures
money
on that
from,
thing.
and loan too. I mean, she can loan money.
That wouldn't have to be part of the resolution, but that needs to be part of the document that I'd like to see here.
The committee needs to know that that's where the money's coming from.
Absolutely.
Okay, but are you going to do it like a?
We already know that.
Yeah, I know that, but
And we have that right here signed.
Do we have to do that by resolution?
Well, I just want you guys to know that's how I'm going to have to pay it.
I knew it. Don't we have to do it by resolution?
I'll do, when I borrow the money, actually, I'll
And
do it
charge
by
interest?
resolution. I won't charge interest probably.
I know, but I think it's really by law.
It'll be a short-term loan.
Yeah, fine.
Well, you
I'll
can
check
put
with
it
the auditors.
very minimal, 1%.
It's in your own fund, isn't it? It's in your own. Maybe be okay.
I can charge.
I didn't know anything about it. It'll be okay.
Kevin, how much is coming out of your budget?
About 10. Well, it's out of the capital outlay. 17.
And there's only 30 in there.
Right. That's what my concern was.
Well,
Decaying
and,
so
and,
much.
and for that capital outlay, just to put 31,000 in there, hard long. I still think we need to have some kind of a budget for that. I mean, are we just going to put 31,000 in every single year and not have a plan of what we're buying?
I think that's a very good idea.
We've tried to work a computer plan up for years. We really have, to try to get into an ERMR, even if we just take a quarter of the county and work our way into it. But, at budget time,
ERR, we got enough trouble out of public works. I know it's a good idea, but that's going to be awful hard to install.
It's hard to get it started. We have to have some startup funds for
Well,
it.
and we will have some startup funds if that's something that we want to look at.
I think, you know what, it's going to be tough in the beginning. It would be tough, but in the long run, it'd be the best way to go. We would always have.
No one would argue that. It's like setting up depreciation.
Okay, now, where are you going to get your 10,000 out of your budget?
Out of the O&M. Out of
The 8, the 10 is from Kevin.
It says here okay, for imaging capability for the Franklin County Clerk's Office, 10,000 to be paid from the current expense capital outlay 710 budget.
Right.
Okay, that's 710. All right, then 8,000 from the clerk. Okay,
That's the professional services line, which I've used for filming before, but now I won't be filming. We'll
No,
be doing
will that
this.
line have to be supplemented again?
This year?
Yes. So we're not borrowing it from
No. Right,
the back.
right.
okay, and so how much is in that line item?
10.
10.
It
So
was
you've got-
14 last year, but I reduced it to 10 this year. Cause I
Why
didn't
aren't we
use
taking the full 10 out of it?
Didn't need to.
Well, it'll relieve the 710 budget.
I'm kind of concerned about that 710 budget too. Because
Let's reverse those two. Are you in agreement? Because he's not going to be using it for microfilming. Okay. Well,
No, you're right.
from
Well, it doesn't sound like much, but you come down here in October, November.
and 60,000 is going to be from
64.
O&M.
60.
60.
You said 64.
That was the total price of the system.
But he's reduced it because he
Yeah,
got rid of a
Right.
scanner.
Scanner.
Okay, so
it's
that's,
60,000.
we're talking about 78,000 total, Mr. Brock. And there's the figures, but we want this in writing and a sign off.
Okay.
And a sign off from the committee.
Okay.
And then maybe a caveat if O&M budget can't pay bills, borrow.
You mean if capital outlay can't?
If
Capital outlay, because the O&M is
The
the
O-
problem.
The O&M.
O&M's going to be short, Jenny, and
Yeah.
so if O&M budget can't pay auditor we'll borrow from elections, and then if the 710 budget comes short, what are we going to do? I mean, throughout the year, how are we going to pay some money back into 710 budget?
That's, and or Jenny said she was
Yeah,
going to
if
kick
it
in
gets
some
really,
sort of way split it.
like, we're hoping that as time goes along, he won't need it. But let's say he needs it like in September, October, we will have the money in the historical fund, hopefully, right
We
at
hope
that
we have,
time.
because this budget here, there has to be grant money that comes into it.
If 710
We don't have
budget
supplement.
is short, we'll
I can loan the money
get
to
reimbursed
loan the money. I have to loan from my O&M. I can't.
But the auditor's O&M can grant.
The auditor's O&M is the historical money. Part of it, I'm saying, not all of it, but that part.
But now, some of this
That's what
imaging
I don't know.
for you, Jenny, that has nothing to do, you can't use some of your treasurer's O&M for some of your equipment?
I don't know. I don't use it for that.
Well, I mean, can you legally?
That's not what the law says. I'm not going to go. I mean, I use it for computers, and that the county or the current expenses never bought one computer. I use it for that.
But could you use it for your scanning equipment?
That's what I'm talking about.
I probably could.
If
So
you
that-
could define what was actually going to be the cost.
Right.
to
But
get
there,
it
you know,
here
you
to
just
park.
gotta, you
And
gotta
that's
make
later
sure
on anyway,
that's
for you.
sure. But you know, there's gonna be a day, and then maybe hopefully not. But if we have it like it was back in '88, that I mean, the county went in the whole paying the closure cost. It was awful. So you have to, you can't.
Yeah,
ever,
but you got a lot of money in there.
That's what I want. But
A
you
huge amount
You know
of
what?
money.
The title insurance is $20,000 a year, so that you can deplete it just like that. So
Well,
and
all
nobody pays.
I know is when Vivian set it up,
Yeah.
it was for a car, for her foreclosures.
Oh well, maybe I should do that.
It was. I mean, I know that's what it was because she couldn't afford, and so that's what the treasurer set it up for. I remember.
Well, it's actually operating. I should pay half a person's salary out of that. Is what I should do, and I've never done that because that's the way it's set up too.
Well, and I don't know why you don't, and then what you free up, you can spend.
But I wish that we had, like, okay, here's your money for the year. You spend it the way you want to budget. Bottom line.
Instead of line item.
Instead of line item. I don't like line item.
something. If you paid a half a person's salary, then that would free up per expense probably $20,000 easy.
Yeah, but I can't be guaranteed that money's always going to be there. Then what happens is current expense going to come back and help me out there?
Well, you'd have to.
Well, I don't know. See, I just never have approached the
Well-
problem. I could probably do that.
Put it on a one-time expense.
Does this stuff, do you want that spelled out in the resolution or in a separate?
Just a
Well,
separate letter.
or
what do I get into?
an addendum to this resolution.
Okay, well, Mark's going to be back till Thursday.
That's true.
He's out of town.
I should
What
do
is?
that.
Well, I mean, as long as you have the majority of the
But I just
people,
never have
it
that.
isn't
I
100%.
always have that fear. Like
That
the week
Well, it
people-
says everybody sign off on it.
This is just a sample from before, and another copy you could keep if that would help.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
we weren't sure what needed to be spelled out in the
Exactly.
resolution and what needed to be on a separate document. Or,
I'm not being the pessimist.
No,
I know,
but,
but that's just the way I feel. That fund has laws behind it.
Well, I'm not suggesting break law.
I'm not going to. I don't care who you are.
What's this about breaking the law, Mr. Bowen?
I swore.
I'm trying to free up $20,000 of current expense fund. I would think you'd be on my side on this one.
No, you're
I didn't
not.
say I wouldn't. I didn't say I
We want
wouldn't.
that in writing,
he's not
Fred.
opposed to breaking the law, he just wants to know how it's going to benefit.
But that's what I asked him. What's in it for me? And he says, just thank you.
Make sure that it has all the specifications.
Can you folks come back Wednesday with this so we can get this?
So, yeah, I gotta
Well,
go.
Frank,
I
let me
gotta
go
get
into
tax
the
bills
agenda
out.
If we get all
Yeah.
But this is wrong. This is wrong now because we.
Well, we just need to change the line.
Yeah, we'll change the resolution.
But can we put it on the consent if everybody's signed off on it?
Yes.
Instead of having to come down.
Why don't we have somebody come back with it? It's going to be the same thing.
I'll just bring it back.
Have Mike come back with it.
Okay, I gotta get you.
And come back on
Okay,
Wednesday.
do you know what? So it's 8,000 out of 7.
Yeah, those two are just being
10,
reversed.
and then.
The 10 out of
Then I think we need a line of, if there's not money in the budget,
Right.
that Zona's gonna borrow from her elections O&M.
Right.
And then a statement if 710 budget is short, the auditor's O&M will reimburse when funds are available. And those need to be put in there.
Okay.
You need to write this down.
I was going to take Mary's notes when she's done to take.
Could you-
Good points to have in here so that we know what we're talking about.
Right.
All right, well, then we'll do that.
I know you're going to be happy to get through dealing with us in this thing. We want to see it.
We're
right?
tired of not understanding where the funds are coming
No,
from
that's
and that
understandable.
everybody's on the same page.
Right. We need to be.
Because we've gotten burned a few times.
Well, this is why we want to sign off on that
Right.
committee so that everybody's happy. We know that that's where it is.
And I also, Michael, these numbers don't include sales tax, right?
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I've reduced that scanner. I had to.
You may need to add that
Right.
scanner back in a later date.
Right.
But Michael, next year, when we have more money, then we can go in this fund, and we can look at getting it.
Right.
Well, if Jenny can support a half a position, there's $20,000 right there.
They not only pay for a salary with that line item in other counties, they also pay for equipment.
But like I'm saying, if she's
Well,
willing to
she
do that, half
very definitely is buying equipment and she's buying her computers. I don't understand this imaging.
Well, it could pay for the whole scanner or the whole.
Yeah.
Well, and just like I
Server.
did, like we've never ever had this little money in O&M, and it's definitely being depleted. And the difference is that I have more money coming back into that fund, I think. And then the legislature is also, we propose an additional
$1. You propose more, but they cut it back to $1 from
if
2
we
to
get it,
3.
we get it. But that otherwise, when the money's gone.
Wait into my house.
So.
Well, all right, just so we're all on the same
Okay,
page.
guys, thank you one and all. It's been delightful.
That's the first two lines aren't part of that.
First two what?
The
Oh.
first two lines on that are just, part of yours. But
So I should have listened to her. But it would have been all changed anyway, right?
That's your last way.
Well, it was just a little bit of. I should probably go into executive session.
Well, are we going to
You want to come back
do
to
the
the COLA?
first one?
Can we do that first one, or do you want to come back to it?
I have to do the first one. I have to talk about union negotiation.
Okay.
So I need to go into executive session regarding personnel union contracts.
And then while Mary's shutting the door and turning off the...
how long?
Probably 10 minutes, and then
If you have a different subject matter.
probably 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes on personnel.
What page?
It's not on there.
Okay.
It's just item 7.
10 minutes, Mary. Nobody out there, so.
Okay.
Hear ye, another 10 minutes.
This is over our custodial staff. I'm giving John.
Wait a minute.
Some
We've
guys
already...
are good workers, Fred, that cannot supervise word behoove. And some good supervisors aren't necessarily good workers, but they're good supervisors. There's a distinct difference between the two, I tell you.
Okay. Now this one, this is about the
fingerprinting.
And we've already...
Already talked about that. That area chamber, I think Mike Garrison still refuses to go to that. In the city of Pasco, I've got to call in Gary to talk to him about it a little bit, but I just do not cross. I'd rather cross area chambers than cross the city on
You know, we haven't recognized that area chamber. We haven't since I've been here.
Well, they've asked every year, and every year the board said, no, we're not going to do it. You know, we've got our own chambers, and we support our own chambers. We're not going to.
I'll support that.
Okay, well, Ken's going to write a letter that I'm out of town, that there's not a replacement available.
Well, you know, whatever you want to do, I just sent it back a letter and said, sorry, we just don't recognize you. But that's your call, not mine.
Well, if they would be known as Kennewick Chamber, would we feel the same? I don't think so.
Probably not. But they don't recognize, do they, is Kennewick Chambers area chambers now?
Mm-hmm. They changed their name.
You've got Richland Chambers, area chambers, and Pasco Chambers.
And West Richland Chamber.
Yeah,
But they see, we're called Greater Pasco Area Chamber of Commerce. And theirs is called Tri-City Area Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And see, to me, I would think West Richland and Richland would be unhappy about that.
Well, yeah, I think everybody's unhappy about it.
I don't think they are, because they all go.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. And the Alliance, you know, the chairman of the Alliance, when they put on seminars or, such as what Kennewick's doing on this, is when it is something that the whole Tri-Cities would be interested in, and each chamber takes their turn. Well, it's Pasco's chamber to provide alliance-type programs, and then everybody's part of it. Well, when Kennewick, or the Tri-City Area Chamber, had it last year, they didn't include Pasco.
Well, I know that. I talked to Teresa Lavender last year.
But someone said Teresa was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's why Teresa's gone.
Well, you know, I've talked to Gary about this before, and Gary, you know, the city just, you know, and I don't know if maybe things have changed, but the city's like, there's just no way. I know that the mayor won't go talk to there because they don't represent Pasco, and they don't want to basically go against the Pasco Chamber.
Well,
Pasco Chamber doesn't recognize the area chamber, and so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's all I really have.
So I guess that's a moot question.
And 4 is something we're going to discuss.
That's in the budget every time. That's just one of the budgets.
Thing.
Okay.
When are we going to get bids on them?
I think bid was 11th of February.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it is 11th of February.
We're going to go out for bids?
We've already gone out for bids on the moving.
On the moving, yeah.
Beacons.
Yeah.
But now, what's this? Are we straight on this deal at the auditor's office?
I talked to her last week about it, and not specifically about her having other movers come in, but I had 2 Mayflower and Beacons in there, and they're bidding the whole thing.
They're bidding the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, I personally oppose any individual department setting up their own schedule and their own moving. I mean, I think they need to be scheduled through you, and one outfit bid the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to her about it again. I wish I wouldn't open my mouth. And she said, the people that, you know, the movers themselves, if they don't know how to take that apart and put it back together, she said, then are they going to be insured to fix it right?
Yeah.
They are.
They're required.
All of them are required to do that.
So, you know, I personally don't see how anybody's going to do any better job than anybody else. I mean, they're all professional movers.
Well, no, these are the people that installed it.
Yeah.
Anybody else should do the same thing.
Yeah, they just take it apart and put it back together. I'm just looking at the cost, because I know it'll drive the cost up if you have to.
Does she have a price?
I don't.
Did you ask her?
But even if it's the same identical thing, for one, I'm just speaking for myself.
Well, but okay, how about this? If they take that out of their bid, Beacons and them, and it would be a wash.
Well, you know what?
But
That's
an
going to be
inconvenience too.
that's going to be a decision that I guess the board needs to make on that. I mean, I think I don't think it's necessary myself. I just don't.
But if it's a wash on the funds, what difference would it make?
It's the idea, suppose every department wanted to do that, Neva. Suppose, and why should we give Zona a special compensation or
Well,
privilege?
I think she's got more modular furniture than anybody else.
But that's-
Everybody else just has desks.
She's always asking for special attention on every issue. I don't care what it is. Now, for one, you got one no here. Neva wants to support it, that's fine, so she'll be the deciding vote, but I'm not going to support it.
Well,
I'm gonna talk to the
I just think it's not necessary to have confrontation if it doesn't make any difference in the cost.
Well, if it doesn't, you know what? If it doesn't,
What you have confrontation is every other department is mad over the fact that we're allowing her to have special privileges.
that is true.
Who would know the difference
Every
when
other
when it's
department
being
will know
moved?
This courthouse knows everything that happens every minute of the day. I can't even get downstairs without stuff getting ahead of me. We'll be talking this afternoon about the move. You know, are you guys going to come to that meeting this afternoon, or?
I'll be here.
I don't know that you have to, but you know, we talked a little bit about the move already. I don't. Have you guys given any thought as to when you want to get moved down there? Do you want to get moved down the same time as everybody else? Or, I was kind of thinking we'd be the tail end of it because
That's
we've got
fine
these other
with me.
ones.
I'm not in that big a rush to get down there.
No, I'm not either. You know, because we're going to be down there long enough once we get down there.
Yes. No, whatever. It doesn't make a difference to me.
Okay.
And do we? What is our furniture in here going to be like once we're moved back in here?
It'll all be brand new. It's going to be built in.
And is it going to be up a ways? And then what kind of seating are we going to have out here in the audience? Are we going to have pew type things?
Probably chairs.
We won't have to have this stuff in the back.
Whatever you want. If you want pews, we'll just tell them to build pews in back there.
Well,
That's
I
what
mean,
you
those
want.
pews that is in district court are awfully nice.
Yeah.
But I suppose if people use this for something else, but I hate these chairs.
Yeah. Well, they were better than what you had because you had
This is so much better than what we had when
I
I
know,
first
but
came. We had all these. This side was just office here. We had that little meeting room over there. That was terrible.
I think that was one of the first things that
we changed over. Yeah,
we went upstairs. Yeah, I remember that. You guys just met in this little square right here.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. If you guys want to have built-in pews, I just assumed we'd have new chairs put in.
Well, I don't know. I just
now one
I
thing.
think cost will make a determination, and
well, that'd be something.
One of the questions, the way it's set up is that it'll be like this. Mary will be here, the board will be here. I have two staff on this end down here, which would be me and whoever else happens to be here. But do you want it set up to where when staff comes up to give you a department update that they actually come up and sit at the table with you, or do you want them down on the podium?
well, I think we need to have a different setup here. We'll have the side over here, and maybe. I'm looking at the city. They have it when their staff goes over and sits on the side, Fred. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you'll sit over here, and then when the person that's making the presentation, we might have them over on the side, as opposed to the way they are now.
Well, that's the way it's set up. There'll be two on this end down here.
And don't you think that would be best?
Well, what if, like today, you had Jared and the ag burn guy and Jim come up.
But they're not going to be able to sit up in front because we're going to be raised.
Right. Well, it could be set up to where you're up on a say 11-inch rise, this much further off. But it could be set up to where there could be chairs setting in front of you.
I would like to, from my own standpoint now, I'd like to see it set up just like the cities down there, as far as their benches arranged, and they have several on the side that
Right.
they can sit on the side.
So you want us to extend that to where you could have maybe up to four people sitting on the side?
I like
Does that
that.
sound right to you?
I think the city is awful nice the way they have it.
Well, I'll go over and take a look at it. But yeah, I think that'll work. I'll just set it up for you
And
before.
then you still have your audience, and you're dealing with the people right there. Because this here, and they'll always have their back to the audience. That way over there they wouldn't.
Okay, we can do that. I meet with Brian this afternoon at 2:30.
Well, will that make a difference in our budget? Minimal.
It's already pretty well set in there, so.
Are you three?
That whole budget
I'm
thing that we
three.
did.
Huh?
I'm 3. Are we, do
So
we have anything else?
I guess we're adjourned until 1:30? No, I guess we're adjourned and then we'll just
Okay, we are adjourned, is that correct?
come back for the,
Okay.
It's just going to be a discussion. It's not going to be.
Department head meeting.
I'll bring this down to your office when I'm through.
Okay.